Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Ms. Harley?
We have one more open work session on the agenda today, and that is the draft Wicomico County Priority Letter to discuss the recommended transportation projects. And we have Mr. Mark Whitelock here, Deputy Director of Public Works, and Mr. Tony Rudy, Airport Manager, if there are any questions.
You two can come up front. Introduce yourselves for the record.
I'm sorry.
Introduce yourselves for the record.
Oh, sorry. Tony Rudy, Airport Manager.
Mark Whitelock, Deputy Director of Public Works.
Okay, it's yours.
All right, so we're here to talk about the 2021-2026 Consolidated Transportation Program, CTP. And I'll go ahead and let Tony start off first. He's got the majority of the first part, and then I'll talk about the roads projects.
Okay.
So I think there were minor changes that were made from last year's list. We did have, as you'll see on here, we did have the aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicle on there, but not knowing at the time what the funding sources were going to be available, or if we were going to get the CARES money for that, we decided to keep that on. Most of these other projects were just things we were planning for. I guess unless you had specific questions for any particular project, you want me to go through them one by one, or?
Yeah, I don't think you need to read every one of them.
Yeah, I
You can read
don't
them.
feel a need, but if anybody else has a question, everybody has got the letter in their packet. Is everybody okay with it?
Yep.
Mr. Holloway?
These projects basically would be requesting some funding from the state, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any overlap with that, with the 18 million you got from the federal government? I mean,
Yes.
does that work with it, or?
Yes, some of these projects are identified as CARES Act projects that we showed. But like I said, not knowing what the FAA is going to decide is eligible or not eligible, we figured we'd include them with state funding too. If we do get state funding, then we might be able to fund some other projects we didn't plan for.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Anything for Mr. Whitelock?
Talking about roads.
You got roads now?
On the Route 13 truckway and inspection station,
Yes.
you need to really stress to them that they need to find another location for that. That's been addressed 2 different times over the years. I think it's been about 4 years ago now that it flared up, and then I guess about 20 years ago, maybe. Just
Yeah,
stress that they need to find a different location.
We've put a total paragraph right at the end of that request.
Yeah, I appreciate that, yeah.
Okay, anything else? All right. Everybody agreeing to this letter?
Yep.
Got a consensus? Mr. McCain? Mr. Hollow, Ms. Holloway?
I'm good.
How about you, Mr. Cannon? Ms. Hastings?
You want to discuss any of the rest of the parts in it, or is it just the?
If you got questions.
Well, if you have a question, go ahead.
Oh, just on the planning initiatives part. Let me pull it up here. I just wanted to comment on here, just the Route 13 areas for the planning study. If I'm looking at the right space and right this.
The merging off the bypass you're looking at.
Yeah, well, just in general. Yeah, that specifically. But I also the other day I watched. I've been watching nonstop. When I rarely do I go to North 13 anymore. But the area around the mall, there's now been a lot of folks who, I guess, homes have been put up behind. I know there's that trailer park that's behind the Exxon, but there's a lot of folks that are just, there's no sidewalks, there's no drink, but they're walking nonstop down here. And I watched a young family almost get hit by a car about a month ago.
And this was a two-phase request from them, one was for sidewalks and pedestrian moving, and some, I believe it was some upgraded pedestrian crosswalks and things. Also to try to eliminate the merging that when you're coming off the bypass and going north 13, is that merging from that over into the fast lane, like if we were gonna go up and go to Lowe's
Right.
or something like that, because it's kind of dangerous in there.
Well, I don't know what I mean, there's really not much you can do, because you're not supposed to have sidewalks on a damn highway, but nonetheless, we built all these, I don't know, is this what you would call a strode, right? A street and a road, I'm not really sure, or a highway, I'm not really sure what to classify what North 13 is. However, nonetheless, it's not a great space for walking, and you got a lot of people who nonetheless are using it as such, and I don't know how else to provide further safety, but I mean, any one of us could drive right now towards Walmart, and you're going to see some sketchy spacing where people are running across or trying to get across, and that's just not helpful. So I'm just throwing that out there to the larger piece. I know there's a lot of different funding components, and
And I think the larger part of that would be for pedestrian walkways with lights for crosswalks, especially up near Walmart, going from Walmart to the other side. That's where I see a lot of people trying to cross over back and forth there.
right next to the car dealerships,
Yeah.
there's that first light there. There's almost always someone standing there trying to cut across.
Yeah. Is that a county issue or a state issue?
That's a
State.
issue.
It's a state issue. Okay. Anything else? All right. Ms. Ackley, you good? Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir, ma'am.
I just want to make a comment that we do have the Maryland Department of Transportation attending our October 6th meeting. This year, they will be having their public meeting at our council meeting instead of at the Civic Center, as we've done in years past.
We don't have to feed them.
So that's going to be October the 6th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, and so it will be scheduled at 7 for them
Go feed them.
specifically
And they'll participate remotely
by Zoom,
Good.
by WebEx.
by WebEx, yes, online.
30 people and one person
Okay.
speak.
All right, thank you all.
All right, thank you.
All right, this time we'll go into closed session. Need a motion?
So
Thank you.